Come to me, my children. Follow the sound of my voice to receive thy blessings. Unburden yourself.
Ow! 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 Ow!
And welcome to the Church of Last Resort with the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll. The Church of Last Resort, where your prayers are heard, your sins forgiven, and no matter what you believe, you won't believe this shit. And now, the Reverend, the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. Today is Sunday, May 25th. It is the Sunday before Memorial Day, which means a lot of you are looking forward to hearing my Memorial Day sermon. Don't have one. Don't give one. And there's a reason for that. If you want Memorial Day services, you can hear them everywhere and anywhere, all the time, 24 hours a day. You can go to the Memorial Day service channel on Mind Dog TV and hear Memorial Day service every single day of your life. I don't do that here because, first of all, I ain't got the time to write a Memorial Day service. I'm too busy greeting you, my brothers and sisters. Some of you who are visiting for the very first time, new members, and you may not be where you want to be because you may not be there, but you are. Shit. Let's try that again. You may not be where you want to be and wherever you want to be because you may not be where you want to be, but there you are. And you know something? Even when I tried to read it, I didn't get it right. I don't know why. I never mess up. I'm not used to messing up. It confuses me when I mess up. It's such a new thing for me. So now, welcome to the Church of Last Resort. I am the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll, a PhD, DDS, ADHD, MCM, LIX. People have also called me the racy reverend, the pervert pastor, the vile vulgar vicar of vice, the sexy shepherd, the missionary man, the minister of mischief, the wicked witness, the dirty deacon, the doggy style, the frisky friar, the ass man abbot, the booty banging brother, the handsy high priest, Father Fismus, the wicked, I like to watch, witness, the holy hoe, the divine dominating dominee, the depraved preacher, the minister of making love, the clergy of cunning conversation while eating that pussy, and that nasty N-word. That's right. And that's like a exclamation point at the end of a sentence for some people. They say blah, 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 and then drop that nasty N-word. And I'm like, okay, all right. But here's the point. The point is that I come by many names and by many methods, but I do not come easy. Amen, amen, amen. And as always, shall we start off? Let us begin. Let us begin in the name of George Carlin, Robin Williams, and Richard Pryor. Can I get a fuck yeah? Yeah! Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Those fuck yeahs are the best fuck yeahs of the day. As the best part of waking up is a fuck yeah in your cup. Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit, just so you know. I'm going to talk about something a little bit in a little bit. But like I said, tomorrow's Memorial Day, okay? And I'm pretty sure I have it on good authority that Trump plans to honor the fallen soldiers by making it all about him. That's right. He'll be mourning the loss of his bone spurs that, along with his cowardice, kept him out of Vietnam. That's right. 8647. It's what is it? 8647. It's way past time. Yeah. 8647. It's way past time. 8647. It's way past time. Okay, sorry. That was a popular song back in Vietnam, I think. I wasn't there. I didn't have bone spurs. I was just not much taller than a spur when that happened. I was like 8 years old. Yeah, they weren't taking 8-year-olds into the service back then. But I'm sure under new rules, since we're getting rid of a lot of people out of this country, 8-year-olds will be serving at least at work, McDonald's, and probably in the military. Once you get rid of all the gays and the foreigners and the colored people, our military is going to be down to like 1/10 of what it is now. You got to make it up somewhere. And since they don't want dark people, it's going to be little white kids. That's right. Little white kids in the military, ages 8 through 12 in the military. Look forward to it. Okay. You voted for it. You getting it. Amen. 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 Now, it's time for our opening prayers. That's right. And those are the prayers that we open with. If they were the closing prayers, we wouldn't be doing them now. That'd be kind of silly now, wouldn't it? And I don't do silly things. So it's time for our opening prayers. If you or someone you know is in need of a prayer by the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll, please send your request for a prayer or healing or forgiveness or any such requests to the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll. DrEvangelirolle@gmail.com. Just like it's rolling across the bottom of the screen. If you're watching, it's rolling across the bottom. It's just rolling across the bottom. Just rolling across the bottom if you're watching. Now, if you're just listening, like some of the people are on some of the things that we have that people listen on and they're not watching, I don't know why you wouldn't want to watch it. Look at this face. Look at this face. Why would you not want to watch it? I don't know. What? You don't like pleasure? Is that it? You don't like pleasure? That's it. Okay. Well, if you're just listening, I'll spell it out for you. DrEvangelirolle@gmail.com. Okay. And it is punctuation sensitive. It's not case sensitive, but it is punctuation sensitive. So if instead of an at, you have a ampersand, well, guess what? You're not going to get it, right? You know what I'm saying, right? And if you don't have a dot, but you got a dash, you ain't getting it. You ain't going to get it. You ain't going to get it. Never going to get it. All right. So make sure, even if your cases aren't sensitive, the punctuation is. And please remember to spell roll with an E on the end. Okay. Otherwise, one of the other jelly rolls will receive your request for prayer and blessings, and they're not going to do anything with it. All right. For example, we have an email today. And it is from Mr. Tube. I didn't put his full name, his first initial is U. So Mr. YouTube sent me an email, and it's the subject matter says age restricted your content. What the fuck? Hey Jelly Roll. First of all, it's Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll. What the fuck is wrong with you people? It looks like Church of Last Resort may not be appropriate for younger audiences under our community guidelines. Really? What the fuck gave you a clue? What? I say good morning to everybody. Can I get a fuck yeah? And you think anything after that is going to be suitable for children? You don't have to watch the rest of the episode. You stop right there. I tell people to get your kids out the room. Get your kids out the room. I told them that when I first started the show. I said, get your kids out the fucking room. And now you're going to tell me over a year later that my content, I kid you not, this is the first time Mr. Tube has sent me an email telling me that my content may not be suitable for children. Okay? This is episode 84. All right? Episode 84, which is like 84 weeks. Unless I may have had a replay, which means this would be week 85. But the point is, it's over 80 weeks, and I'm just getting Mr. Tube is just getting around to watching the episodes or something, and now telling me that it may now that says may not be. Okay, it doesn't say it may not be. So I'm telling you now, it's not. Get the May out there. Okay, I know it's May. Maybe that's why they waited now, because this is only the 2nd May, and they only are send the May nots during that. I don't know what took them so long to send this email. Lord have mercy. May not be suitable for children. Huh. May not be. May not. Good God. Lord have mercy. Well, but you can send me an email just like Mr. Tube. Letting me know that your children shouldn't watch it. But you're telling me what I already told you. All right. That's like me telling you a joke and then you waiting 84 months to tell the joke back to me. I told you the joke 84 weeks ago. Okay. 84 weeks ago, I told you. Children, do not watch this. If you are a parent and your child is watching this, I'm reporting your ass. I mean, I need the viewers, but I also don't need the headaches. All right. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Lord have mercy. Now for our disclaimer. Yeah, I even have a disclaimer, but now I'm going to have to include children, in which I didn't include children before because children aren't supposed to be watching it. Why would I include something that they're not supposed to hear? Because they wouldn't hear it. They're not. It would be like me saying this broadcast broadcast is not suitable for Amish people. Why would I say that? An Amish person wouldn't be watching, okay? Plain and simple. So why would I include children in my disclosure? They're not supposed to be watching. Lord have mercy. Now for our disclaimer, okay? And I have to put the disclaimer in there because apparently some people are just too fucking stupid to know what this show is about, okay? They don't know, and so I have to keep putting these disclaimers in because some people are just fucking stupid, all right? Like McDonald's has to tell you their coffee's hot, okay? Or their apple pie is hot, all right? And I'm sure other places have hot coffee, okay? I'm pretty sure. I don't drink coffee. I don't know. But it's not like I went to a restaurant. Okay, I went to a restaurant last week. Let me get to this disclaimer first. Now, for our disclaimer. While all prayers are heard, not all prayers are answered when we want them to be. Some loopholes and restrictions may apply. Okay, just like, okay, now again, I'm saying may apply, they definitely apply. Okay, but because I'm not a lawyer and a lawyer wrote this for me, I have to say they may apply, but restrictions and loopholes are there. They are applying them. That's why our prayers aren't being heard on a regular basis. It's because of the loopholes and the restrictions. They are being applied even as we speak, like two coats of restrictions, right on top of the loophole. First, you fill the loophole in with plaster with some putty, and then you let it harden, and then you put two coats of restrictions over top of it. And that's how prayers work. So please bow your head unless you're driving your car or your significant other. Boom, boom. And if that is the case, just close your eyes or eye if you're a unibrow. One eye. Is that? I don't know if that's what a unibrow is. If you only have one eye, then just close that one eye, okay? But if you got two eyes, close them and let Jesus do the driving while we pray. That's what I'm talking about. Dear Lord, please bless brother. Sorry, that's not his name. That's not what his mother named him. Dear Lord, please bless brother George Wendt. George Wendt, an actor with an everyman charm who played the affable, beer-loving barfly Norm on the hit 1980s TV comedy Cheers, has died. He was 76. That's right.
What's in the box?
Oops, I don't know what's in the box. How about this one?
Everybody, Norm! How you doing, Norm?
Norman?
Yes, Norm, that guy. Yes, that's the one we're talking about. Norm. He died. He passed away. Now, according to the Wendt family, George went peacefully in his sleep. No cause of death has been given, so in lieu of any actual facts, I would avoid peaceful sleep until a complete investigation has been completed, just in case peaceful sleep was the actual cause of death.
Everybody, Norm! How you doing, Norm?
Norman?
That's right. Despite a long career of roles on stage and on TV, it was as gentle and henpecked Norm Peterson.
Everybody, Norm! How you doing, Norm?
Norman?
On Cheers that he was most associated earning 6 straight Emmy Award nominations for Best Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series from 1984 to 1989. Now, that's about the time when I met George, 1997, 1996. It was on the Pot Philosophy podcast. Oh, actually, it wasn't a podcast. It was a live radio show that we used to do back in the 90s, myself and G.D. Fenderson. And it was called Pot Philosophy. We would sit around and smoke pot and discuss philosophy. That's it. That's what we did. Hence the name Pot Philosophy. And George was on the program. And during confession, he was telling me about when his agent called him and told him about the role in Cheers. And he says his agent goes like, "It's a small role, honey. It's one line. Actually, it's one word. And the word is beer." And George was having a hard time believing that he was right for the role of the guy who looked like he wanted a beer. Are you kidding? Other than he looks like he only wants one of two things: beer and bratwurst. That's it. I think that's, to me, when I look at him, that's his entire diet. But he didn't think he looked like a guy who just wanted a beer. Maybe it's the fact that they wanted him to have a beer, and well, so Norm went in, and then they said George went in, and they said to George, this is too small a role for you. Now, again, George is the big boy. So they may have taken one look at him and go like, that one word is not going to satisfy this man. We're going to have to give him more words to fill in that suit. So they said, why don't you read this other one? And it was the guy who never left the bar. Okay. Now, of course, we know he left the bar because every episode he comes in the bar. And in order for him to come in the bar, he had to have left. So we know he leaves the bar. So he comes in, he opens the door, and then...
Hey, everybody, Norm! How you doing, Norm?
Norman?
That's right. So, now, Wint became a fan favorite in and outside the bar. His entrances were cheered with a warm...
Hey, everybody, Norm!
And his wisecracks always landed. There was one where the coach says, "How's the beer sound, Norm?" And Norm says, "I don't know. I usually finish them before they get a word in." That's right. Norm was, always had the wisecracks. There's one that goes like, Norm says, quote, "I'm going to need something to kill time before my second beer. How about a first one?" Close quote. That's right. Yeah. Here's another one. I looked some up. I said, I don't have these all. There's only one quote of his I actually have memorized. The rest of these I had to look up. Coach, when he walks in, the coach says to him, "Can I draw you a beer?" And Norm says, "Can I draw you a beer, Norm?" And Norm says, "No, I know what they look like. Just pour me one." That's right. That's it. Classic Norm. That's right. Here's one for you. Coach Sam says, "What's new, Norm?" And Norm says, "Terrorists, Sam. They've taken over my stomach and they're demanding beer." I like that. You can almost substitute that for almost anything. It's like somebody says, "What's new, Reverend?" And I'll go, "Terrorists. They've taken over my dick and demanding pussy." I don't know. See, I guess I shouldn't. That's why this show shouldn't be watched by children. All right. Sorry. And Coach, there's one where Coach says, "What'll it be, Normie?" And Norm says, "Just the usual, Coach. I'll have a froth of beer and a snorkel." That's right. Who doesn't take their beer like that? Here's another one. Quote, "What would you say to this is Coach talking to Norm. What would you say? What would you say to a nice beer, Normie?" And Norm says, "Going down." That's right. And Sam says to Norm, "What do you have, Normie?" And Norm says, "Well, I'm in a gambling mood, Sam. I'll take a glass of whatever comes out of that tap." That's right. I like that. Gambling man. Whatever comes out of that tap, that's what I'm going to have. Here's another one. They say, "What's shaking, Norm?" And Norm says, "All four cheeks and a couple of chins." That's what I'm talking about. He was a big boy, big boy. And this is the one that I always remember. This is the one where I remember this one. This is the only one I ever. It's in my brain. He walks in. They say, "How's it going, Norm?" And Norm says, "It's a dog-eat-dog world, Sammy, and I'm wearing milk-bone underwear." Yeah, that's the one I remember of all the hundreds of things that he must have said. That's the one that sticks out in my mind. Okay, now Mr. Went, or George as I call him, George, he found steady work on stage. Also, Went slipped on Edna Turnblad's housecoat and Broadway's Hairspray. Beginning in 2007, he played in Broadway production of Elf and was in the Tony Award-winning play Art in New York and in London. That's right. He starred in the national tour of 12 Angry Men and appeared in the production of David Mamet's Lake Boat. Okay. He also starred in regional productions of Death of a Salesman, The Odd Couple, Never Too Late, and Funny Man. That's right. Rest in peace, George. You came and went too soon. Now you're as cold as your favorite beverage. Lord have mercy. Can I get someone to play taps? And one last Norman.
How you doing, Norm?
Norman?
And everybody? Norm!
There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
How you doing, Norm?
Norman?
Yes, indeed. Rest in peace, George Wendt. Loved your work. Loved your body of work. Yes, indeed. Dear Lord, please bless Brother Jerry Connolly. Democratic Representative Jerry Connolly of Virginia died Wednesday. He was 75 years of age. The cause of death was esophageal cancer. I'm a little bit confused. Usually the esophageal cancer has to be hardened to kill you, but this is one of those rare cases where esophageal is just as deadly. That must be a rare occurrence. Yes. Okay. I'm going to take their word for it. I've never heard of esophageal cancer killing anyone. It's usually hard, a lot harder. And I'm repeating that for those people who just don't get it. And I will say it again at the end of after the show. I'll put it in a little short, like a video short, so you can hear it again and go, fuck, maybe by the 10th time you get it. Damn it. Any doctors out there who got that, just drop a line. Just drop us a line. You're in the medical profession and you got that, you just drop a line. Make a brother feel good. That's all I'm saying. So some people will say that's a thinker. Others will say, I thought about it. It's just not funny. Connolly's death came weeks after he announced that he would not seek re-election in 2026 and would be stepping back from his post as the top Democrat on the House Oversight Committee because his cancer had returned. And if you put the correct address on it, it doesn't get returned. It goes where it's supposed to be going. That's just a word of advice to those of you who are sending out your cancer. Put the address on it and the correct postage, otherwise it will return. Connolly, a Democrat, if you didn't get that from the first 4 times I mentioned the word Democrat, has represented Virginia's 11th congressional district, which covers parts of the region outside of Washington, D.C., since 2009. And he announced in November that he had been diagnosed with, wait for it, esophageal cancer and would be undergoing chemotherapy and immunotherapy? I'm confused again. If he were truly immune, he would need no therapy, right? I don't know. Okay. I don't know. I'm lost. Okay. Again, maybe a doctor can explain it. Virginia Democrat. Well, why do I keep saying Democrat? It's not like he changed parties since he died. Virginia Democrat said in an open letter to his constituents, and it has to be an open letter because if you Don't open it. You can't read it. All right. Last month, that while the cancer was initially beaten back after treatments, it has returned. He said at the time that his, quote, sun is setting on his time in public service. Mm-mm-mm. Rest in peace, Jerry. You will probably get more done for the country dead than Trump will alive. Can I get a safe district? Mm-mm-mm. Dear Lord, please bless brother James Foley. James Foley, director of films including Glengarry Glen Ross, At Close Range and Fear, died earlier this week. He was 71. The apparent cause of death is brain cancer. He also worked with Madonna several times, directing the feature Who's That Girl in several music videos. Okay, or would that be in several other music videos? Foley also directed the 2 sequels to 50 Shades of Grey, and I think they were called Slate and Charcoal. Could be misinformed. Foley also directed 12 episodes of the series House of Cards. His first feature was 1984's Reckless, starring Daryl Hannah and Aidan Quinn. In 1990, his 1990 crime thriller After Dark, My Sweet, about Hershey's dark chocolate nuggets, starred Rachel Ward. And okay, this is my After Dark, My Sweet, Hershey's dark chocolate nuggets with truffles. All right, so there we go. It starred Rachel Ward, and Jason Patric is remembered as a significant example of California film noir. And for those of you who speak French, noir is a little bit darker than gray. In television, he directed an episode of the original Twin Peaks about, I think it was about a woman with large breastises. She didn't start off with large breastises, but by the end of the series, she had them, and hence the name of the show. And went on to direct House of Cards, Billions, Wayward Pines, and Hannibal. Okay, rest in peace, James. I still don't know who you are. I saw the picture, and I was like, I don't know who the fuck you are. But hey, can I get a Hershey's dark chocolate truffles nugget? Thank you. These are really good. That's why I keep showing it to you. See this bag? I haven't gotten to this bag yet. The other bag still has 4 nuggets left in it. But if I left the open bag here, I'd be like munching down on those motherfuckers while we eating. And of course, we know that's not suitable for children.
Fuck yeah!
Right. The nuggets or the motherfuckers. So, and finally, Lord, please bless the entire behind the scenes staff at Mind Dog TV. All right. They are truly doing your work, spreading your word throughout the wordosphere. Yes, indeed. They could be anywhere today, anywhere, but they're here, wishing they were anywhere, probably like at a nice cookout, cooking that missing chicken from their yard, or maybe some of that venison, or who knows. But they're just wishing, because in reality, they're right here in the studio doing your work, Lord, and that ought to count for something. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. MindDogTV.com, the place to go to get all of your Church of Last Resort gear. And I mean all of it. The only thing you can't get there is the underwear I'm wearing, or would be wearing, if I remember to do laundry. Okay. My wife is out of town, and she left, and I have to do my own laundry. And so I washed the jacket, and I washed the shirt, and I washed the pants, but I didn't wash the underwear. I think because they were stuck to the floor when I picked everything up off the floor and threw it in the washer. I don't know. I don't know. At any rate, I'm sorry. Let's have a little bump for the Lord. You see this? One day I'm going to get this engraved with that. Let's have a little bump for the Lord. That's right. A little bump for the Lord. Amen. That's good shit. That's good stuff. now that my wife is out of town, I can drink from her stash, the really good top shelf stuff. Because the stuff we get for the show is not top shelf. It's because we're using the church budget. But now that Mona is out of town for like 10 days, and she doesn't remember how much liquor she had when she left, I can hit the top, and she gets top shelf stuff. I mean, she gets shit that when they walk in, they let's just put it this way: if people knew how expensive her liquor was, they wouldn't donate to the church. They would just tell her to sell the liquor. That's what they do. That's right. So, in the name of George Carlin, Robin Williams, and Richard Pryor, can I get a fuck yeah, y'all? Fuck yeah! Indeed. Lord have mercy. So, brothers and sisters, before I continue with our sermon, which is called King Author-itarianism, I want to let people know, if you're a creative, someone who is creative, and you want to be on Coffee with the Dog, on the Mind Dog TV channels, that our young lady, Sister Curly Hair So Bright, has some words of encouragement for you to tell you how you can be on Coffee with the Dog Monday through Friday.
Comedians, musicians, songwriters, filmmakers, authors, and podcasters. Coffee with the Dog is booking for the
spring and summer
now. Get free publicity and hone your interview skill in a fun and safe setting. Coffee with the Dog is a live radio, live stream podcast based in New York that airs daily Monday to Friday 9 a.m. to 11 o'clock in syndication on iHeartRadio, as well as video streaming platforms like YouTube, Twitch, Rumble, and many other platforms. Guests usually come on remotely via StreamYard, like Zoom but easier, although occasionally we do in-studio interviews. The morning show focuses mainly on comedians and musicians, and they have interviewed many top names and classic celebrities such as Robert Klein, Mike Binder, Eddie Brill, Doug Stanhope, Steve Byrne, Paul Provenza, Jeff Altman, and many, many others. For booking, go to minddogtv.com/booking.
There you go. Thank you, Sister Curly Hair So Bright. She does a wonderful job with that, in informing people as to how they can get on Mind Dog TV. That's right. So, King Author-itarianism. A lot of people really do not understand what authoritarianism is. So I grabbed this little piece of snippet from the internets so that I can read it to you instead of you trusting me to tell you what authoritarianism. You are now just trusting me to read what I trust the internets are saying about authoritarianism. So there we go. Does that make it trustworthy enough? I got it right off the internet. Me. Yeah. Authoritarianism is a political system characterized by the rejection of political plurality, the use of strong central power to preserve the status quo. Whoa. Preserve the political status quo. Whoa. Okay. I'm going to address that sentence, that part of that sentence right there, to preserve the political status quo. That is no, okay. And reductions in democracy. Okay, that it does. Okay. So I'm going to reread that, and I'm going to delete the part where it says the use of, it's the internet. I'm going to read what they said. Okay. I'm going to read what they say, and then I will address the problems I have with it later. All right. Authoritarianism is a political system characterized by the rejection of political plurality. Oh, it's rejecting it. No. Okay, one more time. Authoritarianism is a political system characterized by the rejection of political plurality, the use of strong central power to preserve the political status quo, and reductions in democracy, separation of powers, civil liberties, and the rule of law. Authoritarian regimes may be either autocratic or oligarchic, and may be based upon the rule of a party or the military, or profiteering, which is my word. I added that, or profiteering. States that have a blurred boundary between democracy and authoritarian, they're fuckity fuck, get the children out the room, states that a blurred boundary between democracy and authoritarianism have sometimes been characterized as hybrid democracies, bullshit, hybrid regimes, okay, or competitive authoritarian states. All right. Now, for the most part, I agree with what they say. I maintain that it does not maintain or preserve the political status quo. Because if you look at the current authoritarianism, the model, the one in the United States, okay, the status quo was Congress fought around with each other and they fought so much they didn't get anything done. See, this one, he's just bypassed Congress altogether. So he's gotten rid of, for the most part, he just did a bunch of executive orders bypassing Congress and the fighting and the negotiating and stuff like that, which is what the status quo is. Now there is a status quo that he is preserving, and that is that money controls the government. That status quo he did preserve, kind of. He actually upped the game, because before people were just making millions, okay? This motherfucker's making billions, okay? Billions with a B, all right? That's what this motherfucker is doing. As a matter of fact, I think he's made $47 billion since he's been in office, off of people like you and me. Okay, now, here are some steps to authoritarianism based on various sources. Now, various sources is not the name of the book that I use. Various sources, basically, because okay. I did not use various sources. They used various sources so that I could just use the one source, the one. Now, and I say they, and when I say they, I mean the internets. I Googled it and this popped up, but they use various sources. I just use the one source that used various sources. You got you? You follow? Okay, good. All right. So let's see here. Number one, extend executive power. All right. They strengthen their power while weakening the government institutions that provide checks and balances. Simple enough, right? So, for example, Doge, okay, was used to weaken the government and institutions by laying off people, cutting funding, and people said, "What was Doge again?" As Doge stands for Donald's Overgrown Ego, I think, or I think that's it. But anyway, so they were just cutting shit out willy-nilly, and Willie and Nilly both needed their jobs. Okay, now they're homeless, and they probably were going to be becoming lobbyists or something to get their money back. I don't know. Or they could work for the Chinese government, giving them our secrets. And the biggest kept secret is that Trump is for sale. Yeah. So, two thieves in one. They control the media, manipulate or restrict media to control the narrative and suppress dissent. Okay. Now you see Trump doing this with the lawsuits and the threats. Like and God, for God's sake, if you're a media mogul, media giant, stop fucking buckling under. Okay. You have a responsibility, first of all, to your shareholders. Fuck us. Okay. You have no responsibility to us. We just look to you guys for facts and information. That's all we do. And we was trying to trust that you were doing that. But your shareholders, by law, you have to look out for them. And when you start giving in to these threats, and Trump wants to sue CBS for $20 billion or whatever it is he wants to sue him for, and they go, we'll settle out of court and we'll just put on the programming that you like. That's just, when you do that, he just wants more. It's not like you can do one thing and satisfy him, okay? It's not like a woman, okay? Like, I'll get my wife. Take my wife, for example. Don't you take my wife. I'll never get another one to replace her. She's the only woman that'll put up with my shit. But my wife, for example, if she says to me, I need some dick. I give her the dick and she's satisfied. Trump isn't like that. Okay? Trump is not like that. You give him what he wants and he just wants more. Okay? Trump is not a woman. He's a thieving machine. He's a grift artist. And the more you give him, the more he wants and the more he takes. See, so stop giving him what he wants. Deny him, because half the things he wants hurt us anyway. All right. So media, stop doing it and call the motherfucker out. Call him out. Call him out. Call him anything you want to call him, but don't call him president. Call him commander in chief. Okay. All right. Rule number, well, I forgot. I can't count, but they undermine democratic institutions. They erode the legitimacy of democratic processes and institutions to consolidate power. Now, this is kind of a touchy subject for me. Right about there. Ooh, Lord. Okay. I love touching my legislative branch. It's right there next to the judicial branch and my executive branch. But the legislative branch, that's the one that gets the most massaging. So we have 3 branches of government, supposedly. Now, under the unitary executive theory, or the one president theory, well, not one president, basically saying they're in charge of everything. They're in charge. So they bypass Congress. Now, here's the deal. And Biden did this as well, okay? Presidents sign executive orders, okay? Congress sometimes challenge those things and go, wait a second, you can't do that. That's our responsibility. You can't take away our responsibility. The Constitution says we're in charge of the purse. Constitution says we decide when we go to war. The Constitution says we decide who gets investigated, okay? That's not what Trump is doing. He's like signing executive orders, and this Congress, the Republican Congress, is not challenging him. They're saying, okay. Trump is saying, we're going to cut this department. We're going to cut the budget of this department. And Congress says, okay, I'm sorry. That's what you want to do, boss. They're not even, I wish they had a black person in the Republican Party that was like in charge of something, because I would love to do this. I would love to do this, especially since my wife's not here. Trump goes, I'm taking over Congress. You don't have any say. And he said, yeah, the boss. I said, here's what you're saying. I was not going to do nothing. I was going to just watch. Yeah, I would love to do that. But there's no influential black people in the Republican Party. See, and Hakeem Jeffries doesn't sound like that. Mike Johnson doesn't even sound like that. Mike Johnson sounds like this. Okay. So that's now they undermine the courts as well. Now here's the problem with undermining the courts. Once you become a federal judge, okay, you have that job for life. Okay, doesn't matter how you got that job. You could have sucked enough dicks to fill a fort, like Fort Dicks. You could have fought dicks and kept them away from your mouth. You could have fought dicks off at any rate. But once you get that job, it's yours. They can't take it away from you. It takes like an act of Congress to get you out of that job. They have to impeach you. So once you got that job, it doesn't matter. See, President Lyndon Johnson said once, if I can't take your money, if I can't look you in the face and take your money and ignore you, then I'm not doing my job right. It's the same thing with a federal judge. Okay, they tell a bunch of lies to get the jobs. Okay, they lie their asses off. They go through these hearings and they all say this. They all say stare decisis, or what is it? Yeah, stare decisis and precedent and all these things that make you think that they're not radical, but they are in their own ways. And they get really radical once they got the job. because it's like, fuck you. I don't need you to tell me anything more because I got the job. I passed the audition. I got a contract for life. And so once you get that kind of assurance that your job is safe for life, you kind of like get full of yourself. It's like, don't be fucking telling me what your problem is. Most of them. There's some people that still kiss asses, you know. But for the most part, the judges are like, fuck you. I got a job for life. You will be out in 4 years or 2 years or whenever I say, because I can have you prosecuted. But now, federal judges, they can make a bunch of threats and pass a bunch of decisions, but they don't have the power to enforce any of them. It's kind of like they need us to do their dirty work. So if the judge says, a judge can be in court, look you right in the eye and go, bailiff, no, he says, you, sir, are guilty. Bailiff, take him away. And if the bailiff doesn't take him away, the judge isn't going to do it. The judge is going to sit in his room and say, he's going to sit behind the desk and go, bailiff, take him away. And the bailiff is going to go like, I don't want to. I like this man. I think he's funny. I'm not taking him away. No, you take him away. The judge isn't going to do it. Not once have you seen a judge actually lock somebody up. They get someone else to do it. Now, in the case of the federal courts, they need the Department of Justice to lock them up. Well, Trump has taken over the Department of Justice by putting in a bunch of lackeys. And so when the court says, Trump is in contempt, fine him. And the Department of Justice goes, I don't think so. Nope, okay, good, not going to do it. Nope. So that's why. So the courts can make these decisions, but unless they got someone to back them up, it ain't going to happen. That's our job now, okay? Because the Department of Justice isn't going to do their job. So we, as a people, and said, here's the deal. Like I said, I've always said this. I mean, I've said this from before I even watched my first episode of Schoolhouse Rock. I've been saying this for like 66 years, almost 66 years. I'm not even 66 years old, but I've been saying it for 66 years. Everybody can do something. Find out what that something is that you can do and do it. All right. So if you can write letters, write letters. If you can suck somebody off, suck them off. Whatever you can do, do it. Help us get results. We got to put pressure on the Senate and the House so that they will put pressure on the DOJ so the DOJ will do their fucking job. Because right now the DOJ is not doing their job. They're letting people be snatched off the streets. And that may be one of the things later on. Let me see. What's next? What's next after this? Consolidate power. Oh, here we go. Use fear and scapegoating. Create a climate of fear and identify scapegoats to rally support and justice and justify authoritarian measures. Right now, the biggest fear that they're using and scapegoats are immigrants. Okay, and that white nationalist motherfucker Trump and his friends deporting people. We're not thinking about the consequences. They don't care about the consequences. Okay, like I said back in week, they want to wreck it and rob it. They want to wreck the government and rob the government, and they're doing such a good job because they're attacking every single thing at once. You know, it's like you ever play Jenga? You haven't. Damn. Okay, let's see here. If I can figure out how to explain. Okay, Jenga is a game that drunk people like to play before they get drunk. It's like a drinking game. And it's a tower with a bunch of wooden blocks. All right. And then the object of the game is to safely remove a wooden block from the tower, anywhere in the tower, and then place it on top. And you want to do it without knocking over the tower. That's Jenga. What Trump is doing is he's grabbing all the blocks, hoping it falls over. Okay, he's just grabbing as many blocks as he can, not putting them back in and saying we're just waiting for the shit to fall over. Because the whole point is if and when a more responsible party gets into government, they're going to they only there for some the next let's say there's a Democratic president, whoever it is next. Pretty much, they have 4 years to make people give them 4 more years. And if they've got to fix, the more they have to fix, the less, and the long, it's going to take a while, because if you want to fix it, you have to fix it right. You can't just throw shit together. It's not like tearing shit apart. You can tear shit apart willy-nilly. And if you don't care about rebuilding, it doesn't matter. I'll tell you a story. I had a 3-sided shed. I had a garage, but I had a 3-sided shed attached to it. The 3-sided shed was dilapidated and It was falling apart. And we were going to tear it down. And so I got a friend of mine to come over, and I said, we're going to tear this down. And I said, we're going to sledgehammer. I said, wait for me. I said, because we got this. I can show you how it's done. While I was gone, he goes inside he goes inside underneath the roof of the 3-sided structure, and he takes the sledgehammer and he starts whacking at the support beams, trying to knock it down. And now I didn't know that's what he was doing. I didn't think anybody would be that stupid. So I did tell him to wait for me. Okay. And he's inside whacking away. I come back, and I yell to him. I said, no. And he hits it one more time, and the whole thing collapses on top of him while he's inside. Okay. And the first thing I thought was, I got to hide that body, because my insurance is going to have to pay for that shit, And I thought, does his wife need to know he's dead, or that he died in my yard? I had this was in Baltimore, right? I didn't even have to, all I had to do was just move the body to a side street in Baltimore, and let them find him there. I didn't, but he lived, so I didn't have to do that. But believe me, I was prepared to do that, because I told him to wait for me, because I had a plan. I had figured it out. I knew how it was going to fall, because I had made some previous cuts in the wood to compromise the structure further, so that when we start hitting it from the outside, it would collapse and boom, fall internally, like a controlled collapse, like a bam, just like that, fall this way. Okay, because I knew what I wanted in its place. I knew how I wanted to collapse. But when you don't care about rebuilding, you don't care how things get torn down. You don't care about rebuilding anything. You don't give a shit. And that's what's happening here. So they wanted the government to be so fucked up that whoever is the next president, they're going to spend so much time trying to fix shit. And people are impatient. People don't understand how things work. Okay? If you build a house from the ground up, okay, most people don't go out and see the ground, see the woods, and see the trees being cut down, and see the plumbing being put, a drainage system being put in. They just think it's a house. They don't know that there's much more to a house than just a house. There's plumbing underneath, there's drainage, okay? You want the water to run away from the house and not attack your foundation. You want the roof to be on so tight that when 60-mile-an-hour winds come, it doesn't just go flying off. You want your walls to be sturdy. You want your doors to be level. You want the floors to be level, so that if you drop a marble, it doesn't just go rolling across the ground or something. It waits for you to pick it up. Okay, or you put a glass on the table and it just starts spilling out the side. See, there's things that are precious and special and important that need to be done right. And if you're rebuilding, it's going to take a while. But people aren't that patient. They just want a house there. They don't give a shit about the infrastructure. They just want to work. And shit don't work without the infrastructure. And without the infrastructure, it's not going to work, and they're going to be upset, and they're going to not vote for them again, even though they're making progress, because people are fucking stupid. Okay? They also authoritarians suppress opposition, limit civil liberties and political freedoms to eliminate challenges to authority. Okay, well, a lot of our future is based on the people that are in colleges today. Okay, if they're educated correctly and they're learning how to problem solve and to make the world a better place, we'll be better off. But Trump and his friends are fucking with the colleges, saying we're going to take away your funding and let you teach what we want you to teach, and teach the people that we want you to teach the things we want you to teach. Okay, it's not enough that they already have private institutions full of white people only. They already have them. They want every institution to be like that, and they want every minority to be uneducated. Okay, they want every woman to be dumb, so they can just be smart white men in charge of shit. And they want to make sure those white men just aren't white men, but white nationalist men, to propagate that belief system, to quash the rest of us. See, all those steps illustrate common tactics used by would-be authoritarians. I say would-be to be polite. He's not a would-be authoritarian. He's a fucking authoritarian. When I say he, I mean Donald Trump. Okay, and their whole purpose is to gain and maintain power, and in his case, get rich and stay out of jail. Okay, if you look at the things he's doing, it's just to enrich himself and his friends. But that's because he needs to be liked. He needs approval. Okay, he wants to be one of the richest people. He wants to be what he was telling people that he was, and he never was. Because he was saying, I'm a great businessman. He never was. But he wanted people to believe it, and he told the lie so often that the people that voted for him believe it. Now, turns out that according to the legal system, he's just a fucking crook and a thief and a sex offender. So he needs to stay out of jail, and he needs to make money. Okay? Both of those things is what he's using the White House for, to make money and stay out of jail. Now, I'm not here to tell you that if you voted for him, you're stupid. I spent the last 2 weeks explaining to you about authoritarianism and whatever it was I talked about last week. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. Cults. Because I want you to see for yourself. Because if I tell you that you're a cult following an authoritarian, you're going to just like, you don't know what you're talking about. But hopefully you see what's happening, and just enough of you wake up. Just enough of you wake up. So when we go through another election cycle in about 500 days, you'll start putting responsible people in. Now, I have two things I want to say before I end. And one of those things is I want to promote Done Way Past Funny. This week we have new episodes featuring John Beavers from Slaptail Nation out of Michigan. They have a show coming up June 14th. It's a Pride show at the Dormouse Theater. Go online, get your tickets, and ticket information. The headliner is Jamie Schreiner. Okay, very funny lady. She was on Coffee with the Dog a couple of weeks ago. Check her out. Okay. Also, GD Fenderson. You can hire him for private events. Go to gigsalad.com/GD Fenderson and hire him. Well, at least pretend to hire him. Give him hope. Give him hope and money. Hope and money. I hope you give him money. So I want to thank those of you who have subscribed to my fledgling YouTube channel, and it's still fledgling. It needs more fledges. Please fledge today. At Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll on YouTube and on Facebook. They're both fledging. So please fledge and join. May I bless you. I also invite you to come back next week at the same time, 9 a.m. Eastern. And so wherever you're watching right now, You can watch it again next week at 9 o'clock. So on behalf of the Church of Last Resort and the entire royal family, my wife Amona, my kids Cinnamon and Jelly Jr., our cat Tootsie, who was just in here wanting attention, and then she took one look at what I was doing. She goes like, I guess you're not giving me attention, and she walked out. Our dog Stopped Dropping, who did not come in, because when he sees the light is on, he knows he ain't getting attention. And so he's like off in the other room licking his own balls. Sometimes I envy him. I wish you safe travels, and I hope you will join us next week at 9 a.m. Eastern Orthodox Time on Mind Dog TV and everywhere that our word is heard. So, brothers and sisters, in the name of George Carlin, Robin Williams, and Richard Pryor, can I get a fuck yeah?
Fuck yeah!
Yeah.
And everybody,